What up, guys? So today is a really big day. We're going to finally review and talk about the collaborative project between Joe over at BluMaan, myself, the Lockharts, Steve and Nicole, and old dudes Clayton. So it's been like 18 months in the making, primarily led by Joe and Ben over at BluMaan, and it's just been one hell of a project. I mean, the idea was to create a pomade, and this is kind of now transgressing between or kind of traversing between the salon market, the pomade market, between like people, basically connoisseurs, YouTubers, and brewers. And so this was a big project. Like, definitely there's a reason why it took so long to make, and we hope that it's like worthwhile for you guys. So anyways, gonna finally talk about it today. We're gonna talk about BluMaan fifth sample styling mask pomade. And yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. So we're gonna start off by looking at the jar. So this is the jar, BluMaan fifth sample styling mask pomade. You got a tiger on the front for crown. This is all printed on a label, adhere to the jar. I didn't work on the design of myself. I purely consulted for the product, like the pomade itself. On the face you have 5 ingredients they wanted to emphasize, and then you have the 5 collaborators: Joseph Andrews, Clayton Dowds, Steve Lockharts, Nicole Lockharts, and James Bowie and myself. This is a 3.7 ounce jar, plastic all over. And opening it up, you have the product inside, which is this pretty cool, like bluish turquoise, kind of like if you imagine the Tiffany blue, a more blue version of that. But let's go ahead and start using it. The scent of this pomade, I believe, is best described as like a mint, kind of with like the bite or like the spice of a mint kind of toned down. So kind of what we're more familiar with like a mint and like a shampoo type of scent. But anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna start styling with this product, and I want to kind of start off by saying it was one hell of a process, like formulating it, because I mean, normally when I work with a collab, kind of formulating it is relatively, I don't want to say simple, but the market or the audience is straightforward. Like, you know who you want to cater to, you know them extremely well. But now, like, the big project here was working with like BluMaan, Ben, and like an entirely different market, you know? So the idea was to create a pomade, but a pomade that would not only please like our users in the pomade market, but also cater to those kind of the more general like population, which is very interesting because it brings in a completely new mindset. And now, like, for example, like the pomade out of the jar is relatively like tough to scoop. There's a lot more like wax to it, because I mean, we want to provide both the capability for it to kind of style slick like a pomade. You want to add more and more, yet also style just like a strong and like very lightweight like pomade, which is caters more towards like the salon side or the more general population. And in other words, what I'm trying to say is it was very important to make a versatile product. And so kind of get more into the details of this product, like it's a little tough to scoop out because like that's just like it is reflective of how we need the characteristics, the styling characteristics to be. But like breaking it down in your hands is of course very easy. There's no reason to make it like complicated there. And applying it, like breaking it down in your hands, is also very easy. No issues with that. But what you'll notice is similar to some of like the other collabs I've made before, like the amount of product you use really changes the character, like the styling characteristics. Not so much like the hold. The hold like grows a little bit as you add more product, but what really changes is kind of like the slickness, kind of like how the product is gonna look in your hair. Is it like super shiny? Is it more on the quiet side? And that's what's gonna change. And so we will go with something a little lighter today, as in we'll go in with like less product just to kind of showcase that. But with the product applied, go ahead and start combing things back. Oh, I guess I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but this is like a water-based pomade, not a gel pomade by any stretch of the definition, and obviously not an oil-based pomade, because I mean you kind of start to see the collaboration lineup kind of makes sense. Joe and I offer the tastes, the desires of each of our different markets. Clayton, like one of the masters of a water-based pomade, definitely needed his input, and then Steve comes in with his just overall understanding of how a traditional pomade should style, because we wanted to have the capability to style like a traditional pomade for those who want to try it out in that manner, and kind of to offer a new product to like this market while offering to this other market like something that's more versatile, something that can move along the entire spectrum. But anyways, go ahead and start styling now. Alright, we'll go ahead and call that done. So what we really see is like a product that provides enough hold to give like a pretty good like pomp, like good height, good shape, but kind of the thing I really want to emphasize is how it really feels right now, which is really difficult to show you guys. And what I'm trying to say is that like it feels really light. It feels really soft in my hair. Like it's not gonna like dry it or like harden to any extent at all. Like it feels nice. It doesn't feel greasy to any point. And kind of that was one of the really big things that had to be honed in on to kind of be like tuned out, because with a pomade, the typical understanding is that it's gonna be really greasy, or kind of like the stereotyping is gonna be really greasy, really uncomfortable, way too heavy, way too strong, which is completely not true. I mean, once upon a time, like way back when, like maybe that was true, but nowadays that's completely not the case anymore, and people still haven't really grasped that, and so we want them to kind of grasp it with this new product. And kind of you'll be able to feel that it's like really light, it feels really nice, really clean. Yet you can still style with something really kind of nice. Unlike the pomades we see in our market, which are like super strong, sometimes a little too strong, like this one is not that. We have to kind of balance between the two markets, and this is where it kind of like showcases. So what you really see is like a clean and firm product that you expect from like Clayton. Then you also get something that can kind of style pretty slick, like what you expect from Lockhart's. But kind of between Joe and I, you get a product that kind of controls in a very different way. It's really hard to compare to other things we've seen before. Kind of like I guess the best compare would be something similar to like Anchor's like Teddy Boy Matte, or like also kind of pushing towards old dudes like kind of water-based product, and kind of somewhere between there. And that's what we kind of see, and that's what we get. And later on, I mean, I can demonstrate it like when I restyle it like later in the day when I have to. I can kind of show you that it is versatile. It is something that we can also bring texture into the play. But yeah, this is what we can get. This is what is possible with this product without the sacrifice of a heavy, overly strong like pomade. And so go throughout the whole day now, then we'll come back and talk about how well it performed throughout the day, whether I need to restyle, how it endured like the weather. Because today's a pretty big day. I mean, I'm probably gonna go hiking at the dog beach. I'll probably go wine tasting too, depending on the weather. If it rains, I can't, but got a lot of things planned for today, and we'll be really putting this product through the test. So see you guys in a few hours. Alright, what up guys? So I'm back now. It's been like quite a few hours, and we really put this product through the test today, and as you can see, we can still really work with it, and most importantly, we can still finger comb with it. So as I mentioned before, not a gel pomade by any definition, really a true water-based pomade, something that still performs like a traditional pomade in a way, but has like the ease, convenience of something that can like easily wash out. And so as you can see, I actually forgot to mention before, like the shine is kind of really dependent on how much product you add. Like today we put in just like a moderate amount, a moderate to like less than average, and so we had just like just a little hint of shine, and you can still see it now, which is really good, because with some like water-based pomades, the shine is present in the morning, but then it disappears like through the day. Not the case with this one. Also, the slickness is still very apparent, still very like present for you to use, and it's still very comfortable, easy to work with, easy to restyle, whether you're trying to use a comb or just your fingers. Because I went with less product today, I naturally tend towards like a more textured, more loose type of pomp look, and so that's what I will kind of settle with today. And overall, like the endurance, it's obviously not the strongest product on the market. That's not what we even tried, not even remotely what we tried to do. That's not the point here. And so what you have instead is something that is kind of flexible, movable, kind of versatile for your lifestyle. It moves with you, it moves with what you do and the environment you're in. Like basically, really windy, really rainy today. I did my best to keep dry and was successful to the most part, so it's like still relatively nice. I wasn't able to test it in like a very hot weather. Not gonna be able to do that for a few months since it's now winter and it's pretty chilly up here, but still a rugged test nevertheless. And it did pretty damn well. And like, I mean, in conclusion, like of course this product receives my seal of approval. BluMaan Fish Sample Styling Mask Pomade receives my seal of approval. I mean, it's a given, right? Because I wouldn't have given it my approval to be like to go forward with it, because I mean, I want to be honest with you guys, like my name is on this jar, like I was part of the formulation process, and so it's more of like kind of just showcasing to you guys like what this thing can do and why we're so proud of it. But yeah, so kind of to wrap it up, really this product is something that is really lightweight, a medium firm-ish hold depending on how much product you add, but also how much product you add can push it towards like the really slick side or still keep things really light. Overall, we wanted it to be a very versatile product, something that can transverse both our different markets, the salon, the general population, and also the niche like pomade market, and kind of can cater to both people's taste. And so on behalf of like Joe, myself, Steve, and Nicole of Lockhart's, and Clayton of Old Dudes, like we hope you guys enjoy this product, and we hope it's at least something very different from what you're used to. Even for you, those of you on like Joe's end, I hope this is something very new to you, something to show you that pomades aren't necessarily what you think. And those of you already in my own community, this is something different. This has a little bit of different like kind of taste in what we're kind of used to, and it's just kind of I hope that it's a little eye-opening for like everyone. But yes, other than that, enjoy it guys, and peace out.